Welcome back, and we also have MeitY Secretary S Krishnan on proposed bill on online gaming to get us a better understanding of the rationale behind it and the implication of the same. Mr. Krishnan, hi, good afternoon, and thanks so much for your time on ET Now. First up, help us understand, we've understood the rationale behind this bill, but help us understand what the implication could be, because there are also a few, or in fact a lot of companies when it comes to real-time gaming where that don't involve money but are crucial to the entire gaming ecosystem, which by itself is such a large industry. What could the impact be here?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on your show. I think the real impact of this particular bill is in two parts. The first part is actually explicitly recognizing, what exactly the industry is about, which is that there is a large game developer community. There is considerable technological skill and creative intent behind gaming as a profession, and the government wants to provide an impetus to this particular segment, and there is a huge promotional intent behind this. And for the promotional intent to work, it is very important that there is a clear distinction which is drawn, and clarity is there in the distinction between those segments of the gaming industry which require promotion, which are creative, which are positive, and which have an overall positive impact. And also those segments of the gaming industry where there are clearly issues. And that is the distinction which has been drawn. The industry has been repeatedly requesting the government to make such a categorization and such a distinction clear, so that there could be promotion of the segments which require to be promoted, and there could be a way in which necessary restrictions could be imposed on the segment which is undesirable. So this is the clear segmentation that the bill has enabled. And the government has established an authority to enable the segmentation, and also to formulate schemes and formulate policies which will promote the segments which are permissible, which are basically esports and online social games, which include both recreational and educational games, where subscriptions can be paid, but there is no expectation of any return. So this is the segmentation which has clearly been drawn. Definitions have been clearly worked out in the bill, which make the segmentation clear. And a very large part of the online gaming industry is really this part, and that will be promoted not just by MeitY, but by other ministries, including the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, which is establishing the National Institute for Creative Technology in Mumbai, the Department of Sports under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, which will promote esports. So both MeitY and various other ministries of the Government of India will work together to promote those segments of the online gaming industry. The other part of the industry is really about the online money gaming. Now, as far as online money gaming is concerned, I think there has been a great deal of concern which has been expressed by a number of people, including the media, about the problems with addiction, the problems with financial distress caused by addictive playing of these games, and across, various parliamentary committees, members cutting across different parties have repeatedly emphasized to MeitY and to other ministries to act on these issues, and to decisively act and take action. Various state governments have also attempted to act on this particular aspect. And really, the impact would be to protect livelihoods and lives for a large number of, large segment of the population of India, which plays online money games and is somehow or the other families which are distressed by that. We understand this number could be almost 450 million people. And there is now protection available to those 450 million people from games which can be addictive, from games which can be predatory on them. And that is the key impact which we see with the bill. And that is what is being attempted. And we must also remember that playing of these games has not been criminalized. It is a very progressive step. Normally, when in the old days, when betting and gambling would be banned under various state laws, the first people who would be caught would be small time people who would be gambling by the roadside or sitting on a pavement and doing that kind of activity. So today, if you download an online money game on your phone or on your laptop, you're not going to be affected. It is the providers of these games, it is the people who advertise these games, it is the people who facilitate the transfer of money from you into these games which are banned, who are going to be pursued by the law. I think this is the key impact of this bill.
Sure, Mr. Krishnan, thanks for that clarification. But like you were pointing out earlier, the this bill actually it promotes esports while laying some curb on real money games. Help us understand how the government aims to strike a balance between innovation and security, and how is that going to play out going ahead? Because we understand esports is also being promoted at different levels. There's going to be more research done on this. There's going to be institutes. But help us understand how this balance between esports on one side and real money gaming on the other is going to be balanced.
I think the description of both is very clear in the Act. The definitions have been laid down very clearly as to what is an esport and how will an esport be recognized, and also as to what is an online money game. And I think the distinction is very clear, very clearly drawn. The Act and the relevant sections draw this distinction very clearly. If you want me to read out the relevant section, then I can, for the benefit of your viewers, so that you can understand how that distinction is drawn. For instance, in the case of esport, it means an online game which is played as a part of multi-sports events, involves organized competitive events between individuals or teams conducted in multiplayer formats governed by predefined rules, is duly recognized under the National Sports Governance Act 2025 and registered with the authority in accordance with Section 3, that is under this Act, has outcomes determined solely by factors such as physical dexterity, mental agility, strategic thinking, or other similar skills of users as players, may include payment of registration or participation fees solely for the purpose of entering the competition or covering administrative costs, and may include performance-based prize money for the player. And other states by any person, whether or not such person is a participant, including any bets, wagers, or any other stakes. So there is a clear definition of what is esports. In the case of online money game, it means an online game irrespective of whether such game is based on skill, chance, or both, played by a user by paying fees, depositing money, or other stakes in expectation of winning, which entails monetary and
Right.
other enrichment in return of money or other stakes, but shall not include any esports. So I
Got
think
it.
the requirements of an esport and the requirement of an online money game have been clearly distinguished.
Sure.
And an online casual game or an online a social game, as it's called, which basically covers education, recreation, and so
Right.
on, has also been clearly drawn.
Absolutely. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Krishnan. Just want to understand in terms of investment that the gaming sector sees. Now, India is one of the fastest growing hubs for online gaming. And now that this sector is going to be heavily regulated, which is a positive in terms of protection for the players who are logging onto these games. But how do you think this is going to affect investment flows coming in overseas? Do you believe that now esports could see a bigger thrust in terms of investments coming from overseas?
See, I think the point that you need to note here is that the industry itself has been asking us for this clarity. And they've also been asking that there needs to be a specific authority which is under legislation, a statutory authority to help regulate. So clearly, I mean, with this kind of regulation and with the measures which have been proposed in the bill, we should see the legitimate segment of this business really growing. I don't see any difficulty there. And one of the objectives of the bill is actually to promote India as a global capital of game development and creation of this game. So creativity and growing, allowing creators to grow is a significant objective of this bill, and that will be served by both the regulation which makes it clear and draws that distinction clearly, and by the promotional measures which are planned. What it protects against is the other types of games where people make a lot of stakes and wagers. We understand, nearly about 450 million people across the country who play different kinds of online money games and tend to lose a lot of money in the process every year. And that is the segment which is being restricted now.
Sure, Mr. Krishnan, really appreciate you taking the time out and speaking to us here at ET Now and very candidly explaining the provisions of this bill as well as the difference between real money gaming as well as esports.
I'd just like to add one point.
Sure, please go
I'd
ahead.
just like to add one point which I think is a very progressive element of this bill.
Sure.
This bill does not criminalize the playing of the game.
Yes.
If there's an individual who downloads the game onto his phone or onto a laptop, they are not liable. There is no criminal liability on that account. It only criminalizes the providers of the game, those who sort of make available this game on platforms and so on. It criminalizes advertising for such games. It criminalizes the transaction, that is, people who provide the facility to transact the funds or to move the funds in such games. So in that sense, it's very progressive and does not criminalize the actual players of this game in any way. So I think that is another progressive element of the way that the bill has been formulated.
Right. Mr. Krishnan, just on that note, this would be a near-term measure, right? Because once the ban is effective, these games would no longer be available to be downloaded from app stores. Is that understanding correct?
That is right. But then the point is that even if you do have, or if you have downloaded earlier, you're not under any risk of anybody coming and knocking on your door and saying, let me check your phone to see if there's online. So I think to that extent, it will not lead to any harassment of any individual.
Okay, sure, Mr. Krishnan. Thank you so much for that clarification. And once again, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, viewers, on that note, we'll slip into a very short break. And on the other side, we'll start talking about all the stocks that are up in a buzz in today's trade. So you stay tuned. Market Fatafat on the other side of this short break.